on that same channel and on Facebook as well. And on DSTV, this is channel 279.
We begin from the eastern region where 6 persons have drowned in the Afram River while in a boat crossing to a farmland at Azichikopa in the Kwehu Afram Plains South District. Rescue efforts are still underway for a 6th body. Assemblyman for the Jata electoral area confirmed the figures. 6 other persons were rescued alive. The victims were part of 12 persons who have been hired to work on a farm across the Afram River. On Wednesday evening, without life jackets, they traveled on a boat on a transit journey, hoping to reach their destination on Thursday morning before the drowning incident occurred. Although water levels have receded, the Afram River volumes are still high and could drown any boat with the least technical challenge. NADMO officials and residents close by the Afram Lake engaged in the rescue efforts. Let's speak to the District NADMO Director, Stephen Afram, who has been part of the rescue team for an update on efforts to rescue the individuals involved in this boat disaster. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Afram. What's the latest on rescue efforts? Hello, Mr. Afram.
Hello, my sister.
Thank you so much for your time. Can you give us the latest on rescue efforts?
Good evening to your channel listeners. We thank you for your concern. The rescue effort, we are still on. But so far, we are able to retrieve 5 bodies. It's left to only 1. But the rescue team are still working seriously. Get the last body retrieved.
Those injured, are they at the hospital?
Yes, they have been admitted at the Hokrum Government PSB Hospital at the mall. The 5 body. Wait.
Okay, Mr. Afram, that's not the first time we've had challenges with water transport. What efforts is NADMO also making to at least ensure that the life jackets are used?
The life jacket is our responsibility. Make sure everybody who operates the Afram River uses that life jacket. But this special case, it is a canoe that is being used for fishing. That we use it to cross the river and then cross the trade. But our customers, or let me say, boat owners, registered boat owners in our country start. We supply them with that, and we are telling them enough that if you are crossing the river or you are transporting yourself into the river, you are supposed to use life jacket. Save your life at the best.
Okay. So how long will the rescue efforts continue?
I can't give a specific timeline, but we hope by the grace by tomorrow morning, I think everything will be done.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. And Stephen Afram is the District NADMO Director.
Well, let's go on to some health-related stories now. And government has approved the release of 4 million cedis to clear the indebtedness of the Kolebu Renal unit, which until recently had been closed to outpatients. Health Minister, speaking in Parliament on Thursday, said government was also reviewing contracts it had entered into with suppliers of consumables for the treatment of kidney diseases.
The outpatient department of the renal units of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital was closed down in May 2023, leading to the reported death of 19 of the renal patients. The closure also inconvenienced patients who rely on dialysis services, forcing them to seek treatment elsewhere at a higher cost. Although the facility has recently been opened, the Ministry of Health, Kweku Ajima-Menu, has provided an update on the situation to Parliament.
The good news now is that the Minister for Finance has just approved the disbursement of this 4 million to support our patients in Kolebu. Way forward. To forestall the recurrence of this unfortunate situation, the Ministry, in collaboration with Kolebu and the Minister of Finance, is considering one of the following options. the possible inclusion of dialysis on the National Health Insurance Benefit Package, the granting of subsidies based on proposal received from Kolebu, and the possible review of the tariffs to ensure sustainability of the services.
Outlining reasons that led to the closure of the facility, Kwaku Agyeman also announced that the construction of the 100-bed urology and nephrology unit of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, which is expected to be commissioned by the first quarter of 2024, will help in reducing the dialysis burden on the nation.
A local team has been trained to provide these services, transplantation services, at reduced cost, and have already undertaken the first few kidney transplantations successfully in country by our Ghanaian doctors. Mr. Speaker, I believe this is the beginning of the government's vision of making Ghana a hub for medical tourism.
Asawasi MP Muntaka Mubarak hit hard at government over its lack of interest in addressing the issue early enough.
So why are we where we are? If you take, for example, the fees and charges that we gave, 380, yes, over the period, there may be some challenges, exchange rate difficulties, but Confanoche is operating with the same 380, and they've not closed the unit. Yes, I'll agree, Confanoche has, I think, about 10 machines, but largely you go and you have between 2 to 8 that are working at a time. But Confanoche is operating with that. If you go to Brekum, where you have the Catholic hospital, even though this house gave a fees and charges of 380, Mr. Speaker, they are charging 350. They are charging 350, and they are able to operate.
Meanwhile, some renal patients who observed proceedings have expressed disappointment in the statement of the minister.
In all the things that the minister mentioned, I didn't hear or see any policy direction talking about tax waivers or what government or authorities are doing to make sure we have a lot of the machines in the system. So this is one thing that government or the minister should come again and then see what can be done about it.
All right, so this is a subject that has been on for a number of months now. Let's find out, or let's give you, a fair idea of how it has transcended time. It actually started around May 2023, where the unit was shut to outpatients due to high cost of medical consumables and a debt of 4 million cedis. A few months after that, that was in September, the hospital increased its fees from 380 cedis to 765. And then just a few days ago, the 6th of November, under the orders of the health minister, the unit was reopened to outpatients. And you'd also now know that the health minister in Parliament has given confirmation that government has approved 4 million cedis, which is going to be used to clear or offset the old debt. And that's what you have on your screen. Let's speak to Bafo Kojo Ahinkra, who is president of the Renal Kidney Patients Association. Mr. Good evening. Thank you for your time. I think you were also part of the team in Parliament. You heard the health minister saying that some money has been given to offset the 4 million cedi debt. That definitely should come as good news. No?
And we really thank the minister for those payments.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was a very good news, welcoming news to us.
Right.
Thank the minister for making that payment for us.
Great. But in the entire scheme of things, we are also told that there has been an increment in the charges. And with this amount that has been given to clear the old debt, how is that going to play? How much of a relief is this going forward for you and your colleagues?
It's a big relief, but we just hope new charges don't come up again. And if there should be new charges, I always keep saying they are realistic charges that they are charging. This then the government have to step in big time. We don't wait for this type of things to happen. Death should be happening. The government should be coming in. The unit being closed before the government step in. It's a big relief. It's a very, 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 very big relief for us that that money has been paid. But we also hear that they are also appealing that the prices should go up the department should expedite that, which we are saying already. We are not able to pay. Even the 380, we are not the person paying. If you remember, the minister said in the statement that a group called First Sky, a company called First Sky, was the one paying. And because the payment was not forthcoming, that brought the debt that they are paying now. So the patients, we still cannot pay the 380. It's somebody who was helping us.
And so, I mean, what is the next step forward, and how can we ensure that we do not have these kinds of debts recurring, like you're saying? You are even being assisted to pay off this debt. If it does come up again, it's definitely going to be a challenge. How can we, from your perspective, how can you, government and all the stakeholders work to make sure we do not have a recurrence of this debt?
Thank you very much. You see, from my small perspective, government should step in. Already, I learned that the government has instructed that the National Health Insurance to make sure they put it on. They should look at it holistically. And then they should make sure when the money is paid, it comes to the NHI so that they can give to the hospital. Not that it will go to the consolidated fund, and when they need the money, some part of money will be given to them. If that one is done, and then the money will be given to the NIC directly, I think it can cater for this situation. And then the government should look at the tax component. The tax component on the consumables is too huge. When you check the tax component on the consumables, it's too huge. Because he goes to buy the consumables, he brings it, and then supposed to pay huge tax on it. I mean, definitely it's going to affect us. So government should look at the tax component, and then if they're saying they are putting on the NI, they should really look at it. And then they should bring more machines. The machines in Kolebu, these 15 machines cannot serve total number about 400.
Right. Mr. Ahenkra, finally, you are asking for government intervention. Government should step in big. Is it not big enough, taking the full debt that has already occurred? Also, you are asking for government to consider putting, kidney medications and dialysis on the National Health Insurance scheme, which is already overburdened. There are debts in that regard as well. Do you think that's a step in the right direction?
My brother, the point is, nobody can sustain kidney treatment because people are on the machine doing 3 times a week.
Right.
Three times in a week. And so if somebody is even paying 300, 3 times in a week, it's 900. Nobody can sustain this thing. No one person can sustain it. That is why the government has to come in. It's not that we are asking too much. When the right structures are put in place, the health insurance, everything, maybe adjusted payment has been made, all those things. It will solve the problem.
Okay.
That's why we are saying that the government should step in big time.
Bafo Ahenkra, thank you so much for your time. He's president of the Renal Kidney Patient Association of Ghana. So, I mean, all of you can also be a part of the conversation. It's a national conversation. Let's know what your thoughts are on it.
Let's now continue with the rest of our stories. And the Member of Parliament for Dadekotopon, Rita Odolesowa, has passionately appealed to the First Lady, Rebecca Akufo-Addo, to intervene for the reconstruction of the La General Hospital, which was demolished 3 years ago. According to the MP, residents of La and adjoining communities are suffering because accessing healthcare has become difficult. Evelyn Tinma reports.
The MP said, as a representative of the people of La Dadekotopon, the absence of the hospital has become a burden on her heart. She said she and her constituents have now become doubting Thomases of the government, as several promises made to reconstruct the hospital have not been fulfilled.
We don't believe them anymore. We don't trust the government anymore, because it's like they are politicking with the health and the lives of the good people of Dadekotopon. So they should come clean. They promised to reconstruct it in 2 years. That was from 2020, 2021, 2022. They were supposed to hand over the facility. No foundation has been dug. Are they going to start because elections is around the corner in 2024? And we know that when they start, they cannot finish.
In the 2023 budget presented last year, the reconstruction of the facility was mentioned as part of the Agenda 111 policy, but the MP has questions.
Even the Agenda 111, we have the regional type of Agenda 111, we have the district type of Agenda 111. Which one are they constructing for Dadekotopon? They have not even come back to the chiefs and people to explain to us that because we cannot construct it, this is the way we want to go. The project has delayed due to this, due to that. The regional minister said November. Minister of Health is coming to Parliament next week to let us know the source of funding. And so, if approval is given, is it feasible that come this November, before ending of November, the contractor is going to move to site?
She agreed to suggestions by some residents of La for government to release the land for them to reconstruct the hospital themselves and appealed to the First Lady, Rebecca Akufo-Addo, to intervene.
I've had several calls, local and international, that they want to support us in the construction of the hospital, because healthcare is not about politics. Once again, we are calling on His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and we are calling on his beautiful Rebecca. You are a woman, you are a mother, for Christ's sake. Can you talk to your husband in the bedroom to come to our aid? You've been to Konfanochi Hospital. I learned you put up something there. What about La General Hospital? You are a Gadangwe woman like me. So I'm calling on her, Madam Rebecca, beautiful Rebecca, wife of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I've gotten to your doorstep now. If I have to come to your office and plead with you, that speak on behalf of the people of Dadekotopon.
It's quite a passionate appeal there. Right, the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament has directed the Committee of Lands, Forestry and Mines and Energy to conduct a probe into the leasehold agreement which authorized Electrochem Ghana Limited to embark on salt mining in Adan. Reports of brutalities of some of the members in Adan and Sege has drawn members of Parliament to bring to the matter and bring it to Parliament.
A feud between Electrochem Ghana Limited and residents of Ada resulted in a shooting incident in Sege in the Greater Accra region, leaving one person dead and several others injured. Sege MP Christian Otute first raised the matter on the floor. An angry Ada MP Comfort Doyo Kujo questioned the role of Parliament in the award of the lease to Electrochem.
As two MPs from the area, we don't know anything about that allocation. We just chance on it here. Mr. Speaker, it's good to have investors. When you go to Ashanti region and there is land for gold, we also have that sort as white gold. And in the Ashanti region, they didn't give the whole allocation to Ashanti gold. They should give a space for some of the indigenous so that they can also work to bring peace.
The first Deputy Speaker says an investigation would help ascertain the need to amend the ratification for part of the concession to be ceded to indigents of Ada.
The natural resource is supposed to be for the state. But here are indigents living by this natural resource, feeding on it. Yes, it belongs to the state, but the state says I'm giving it to somebody else without regards to these other indigents. I'll direct the Minister for Interior to brief the House about the incident. After that brief, if there's a need for the Committee of Defense and Interior to look further, we will give the appropriate directions. But I suggest that the Committee on Lands and Natural Resource should look at the contract document, the lease document again, visit the site, and advise the House whether it is probable or it is possible to renegotiate.
Away from Parliament, let's head to the courts, where lawyers of the Member of Parliament for Asin North have condemned the Criminal Court 3 of the Accra High Court's decision to proceed with the trial of James Jechikweson in his absence after they notified the court on the reason for his absence. Justice Mary Yanzu had on November 3 cautioned that if the legislator and his counsel failed to make themselves available for the hearing, Jechikweson would be tried in absentia. Lord Iduasari reports.
Lead counsel for the Asin North Member of Parliament, lawyer Chachichi Kata, explained to the presiding judge when the case was called that his client had been injured and was out of the country for medical tests and treatment, hence his absence. He further explained that the serious situation of Jechikweson had required the medical doctors in Canada to provide the court with an update for which the treatment may take 5 months. He, however, indicated that steps are being taken to get a medical doctor in Ghana to testify to the medical condition of the legislator. But Justice Yanzu directed for the cross-examination of the prosecution witness to continue after indicating that there was no evidence before the court confirming the medical condition of the accused. Hence, the court, she said, will treat it as though he has no medical condition as claimed. One of the lawyers of the Member of Parliament, Baba Jamal, spoke to journalists after the hearing.
The unfairness to insist on such an important case. We are doing cross-examination, and you said that you accept the process today, go ahead.
Should we
and
take
that is the side of it, especially when there's evidence of medical condition. We don't necessarily say that the person, maybe he is sick on a wheelchair before you say he is sick. All of us walking here, do we know what is with us here? So when a person is undergoing a medical test, whether it is a test or it is whatever, it is a medical condition that every court, under normal circumstances, should take into consideration.
Deputy Attorney General Alfred Agbesi expressed satisfaction.
They knew about the hearing, and that's the reason why they're even in court today. They also encouraged said that the last time that we came and we met the judge in chambers, they said he was undergoing a medical test. Even from saying that he was undergoing a medical something relating to his health, medical test, we agreed. We took an adjournment. We've been in court today. What's the story? That is now, I'm not saying seriously, but he's sick. But we are not told. There's no evidence to that effect. The court then said we have to go on with the matter because our witness has been in the box since July 2022. 1 year, 5 months.
The case has been adjourned to November 19 for prosecution to present its second witness. Lord Idwasari, TV3 News, Accra.
And still in the courts, former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Benadapa has for the second time urged an Accra High Court to restrain the Office of the Special Prosecutor from investigating her. She contends that the OSP has since July violated her constitutional right of being presumed innocent through a series of actions she believes do not arise from any desire to seek justice. She therefore wants the court to halt any investigations till the cases are determined. Madam Cecilia Benadapa has been a subject of investigation in the last 3 months after huge sums of monies were stolen from her residence. The Office of the Special Prosecutor believes they could be proceeds of crime and has since been fighting to hold on to various cash sums found in her residence during searches by the OSP. The former minister, however, says failure of the court to intervene will mean she will suffer further hardship.
Nine years after the Supreme Court ordered the state to retrieve 51.2 million cedis from businessman Alfred Agbesi W, 18.5 million cedis has been recovered, leaving an outstanding balance of 32.7 million cedis. The Attorney General's quest has been hampered by multiple legal suits filed by the businessman. Joseph Akable has the rest of the story in today's edition of Ghana Remembers.
The name Alfred Agbesi W virtually popularized the concept of judgment debts in Ghana. Songs were composed by entertainers in an attempt to keep the conversation in the news, demand an end to the trend, and make light of the situation. Politicians had a go at each other on who was to bear the utmost responsibility for causing various losses to the state through breach of contracts.
Communications Director of the party, Nana Kumia, was addressing a news conference in Accra.
Ghanaians should demand the prosecution of all government and public officials who facilitated this fraud, this mistake, this great loot and share.
9 years on, 18.5 million cedis has been recovered by the MPP-led government. The facts surrounding the Woyome matter can be traced to July 2004, when Ghana won the rights to host the African Cup of Nations, which was to take place in 2008. The nation set in motion processes for the award of various procurement contracts geared at rehabilitating and constructing stadia. One of such agreements did not mature into a contract, but the company at the center, Waterville Holdings, had already gone to the site to begin construction. Government decided to set aside the agreement, but opted to allow companies working on behalf of Waterville to continue work on the site. It then decided to pay these subcontractors for onward payment to Waterville. The matter ended up in the court with Waterville Holding and Alfred Woyome, who claimed to have helped government with financial engineering obtaining judgment debts. The Supreme Court in 2 judgments ordered the recovery of the sums, pointing out that the payments were unconstitutional since they involved international companies and hence required parliamentary approval. A view businessman Alfred Woyome disagreed with.
I am not from Azerbaijan, as I've been saying. I'm a Ghanaian. Article 181 is not meant for me. It's not meant for any Ghanaian. A Ghanaian, you do business with your government. Nobody is expecting that the things to be affected by Article 181. It has been defined. That if one day have been explained by the Supreme Court, although not, they are not supposed to do that.
The Attorney General has since 2014 filed multiple legal processes in an attempt to seize cash contained in a businessman's bank account and also sell some properties belonging to him. The sold properties are 2 houses at Trasaco Valley Estates. The auctioneer, however, could not find any buyer for the properties. He therefore applied to National Security to consider purchasing the houses. The National Security paid 8.3 million and 5.5 million cedis for the properties. The Office of Attorney General says it is following various leads to recover the outstanding 32.7 million cedis.
All right, let's go education now. Education stakeholders want government to diversify funding sources to ensure sustainability. The players say a proper profiling of Ghana's basic education sector to identify underserved areas for the appropriate investment is necessary.
Analysis of budget data shows dips in budget allocations to the basic education sector from 23% in 2019 to 16.2% in 2020.
In our continuous advocacy work around the rise to services, which includes education, the importance of adequate and sustainable financing has often emerged as key components to achieving our own educational aspirations as a country and meeting targets that we have set for ourselves, such as the SDG target of leaving no one behind.
Experts at the Media General Star Ghana Foundation Dialogue on Basic Education Financing say the trend is dire for Ghana's education sector.
When you starve that particular sector of education with the resources and the money that they need, what you are doing is that you are destroying the generations and the future of the young ones that are in these public basic schools. We want the government to reconsider his position on how to resource our basic education. And when that position is reconsidered and resources are now channeled towards the provision of the needed resources at the basic level, we will see an improvement in everything, which will land in the improvement in what? Learning outcomes.
A lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Edu Osusakode, has been professing some sources for the government to generate alternative revenue for the sector.
The budget will be read next week. The finance minister can sit with all the mining companies and increase the royalties from 5% to either 8% or 10%. And how much do we get? We are going to get about 2 billion or 3 billion cedis out of this small increment and channel it to the basic education.
The dialogue was attended by stakeholders in education, drawn from national, regional and district levels to reflect on the state of public basic education in the country in relation to quality and equity.
Let's now go to the Ashanti region, where sources at Menchia say the Asantehene Otumfuo II has summoned the chief of Eyase over the felling of the 300-year-old Okan Cola tree. It is still unknown who felled the tree, considered to be an enviable Ashanti heritage.
On the main Feyase Eputuja stretch stood one of the famous cola trees. But now it is no more. The iconic Okan Cola tree was first threatened when the construction of the Asokwa Containers Road began. According to history, the cola tree was planted by the renowned fetish priest Okan. History has it that the tree started germinating after the renowned fetish priest spat remnants of a cola he was chewing on the ground. For 3 centuries, the tree has stood, attracting several tourists. But its lifespan has suddenly come to an end. The iconic tree is said to have been cut down on Monday night, November 6. The chief linguist, Nana Frimpong, described the development as a bad omen. Today is a bad day, and we consider this as a bad omen. We have informed the Santehene. We are yet to make any arrest.
All right, I mean, 300-year-old tree just cut away like that. And it's good that Santehene has stepped in to try and investigate to get to the bottom of who actually cut down that tree. We'll be following that story keenly and update you subsequently. Welcome back to News 360. Time now for business, and Menuaful is with us, looking good in pink.
Thank you very much.
Right, we know the ADB has given some good money to Ghana to assist us. Give us details on that.
Yes, thank you so much for the time. Welcome to the business segment. My name is Menuaful. Very straight to our first story. The African Development Bank has reaffirmed its commitment to Ghana's economic recovery. At a signing ceremony in Accra, the bank group approved over $102 million grant for fiscal consolidation and economic recovery program for Ghana. The following report has more.
The AFDB grant, which forms part of a budget support program, is expected to facilitate government's economic recovery reforms through enhanced public finance, increased productivity, and job creation. Addressing the media at a signing ceremony organized here in Accra, country manager of the AFDB group, Fasika Jerusalem, said the grant will complement the IMF Extended Credit Facility for Ghana.
The signing ceremony today marks a key milestone on the efforts of the government to rebound the economy. This program complements the ongoing International Monetary Fund Extended Credit Facility. These ongoing projects, in addition to the budget support program we are signing today, would support government's recovery and development efforts and contribute to the bank's high fives dimensions in Ghana. So we will light up and power Ghana, feed Ghana, industrialize Ghana, integrate Ghana, and improve the quality of the life of Ghanaians.
A Deputy Minister of Finance, Abena Ose-Asari, commended the AFDB group for reposing confidence in Ghana's economic prospects.
Consequently, this grant signifies more than just financial assistance. It represents a vote of confidence in a partnership built on trust, shared objectives, and a firm belief in Ghana's prospects. Today, we are deepening this partnership with the signing of an agreement between the Government of Ghana and the African Development Bank for the implementation of the budget support program agreed. This program is a comprehensive strategy designed to address pressing economic challenges, foster sustainable growth, enhance fiscal consolidation, and promote inclusivity within our society.
The AFDB group has reaffirmed its commitment and availability in supporting efforts of government in addressing Ghana's recovery and development agenda.
And on to more stories. Ghanaians have been admonished to provide the Ghana Revenue Authority with information about income earners they know who do not pay taxes. There have been calls for the GRA to expand the tax net to lessen the burden on the few formal workers and known businesses and institutions that are always taxed.
Addressing the media during a tax education exercise at the Medina Market, the chairperson of Women in Taxation of the Chartered Institute of Taxation, ACSAM, urged the public to furnish the GRA with information that could help get more Ghanaian workers in the tax net.
And you are not prepared to give somebody who is not paying tax. You are not prepared to give it out to GRA because you feel that when they give it out, hey, they will mention my name or tomorrow I'll be in trouble. But when you look at outside world, people voluntarily pay tax. And so it is up to you and I, as citizens of the nation, to play our part. Then by so doing, we educate our children, we educate our wives, we educate our siblings about tax issues. That's why we are here to educate them. And so when they get the education more, definitely the tax base will be broadened gradually. It's a gradual process.
A leader of Cloth Sellers Association in the market wants all vendors to be roped into the GRA net.
Madina had your man who is home bar. Store for any turn to my pet and omoja tax no.
I will urge the GRA officials to tax every vendor in the markets going forward and not just the big shops. And away from that, Premium Motors Limited has launched the all-new Renal Taliant in Accra. The Renal Taliant, with its high-powered state-of-the-art, has a fuel-efficient 1-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine.
The sleek and stylish Renal Taliant is where technology meets elegance. It has a quality interior design with an 8-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay compatible with Android systems, a phone holder, and a USB port, providing an interactive and fun experience. The vehicle has a high trunk capacity of 528 liters and comes with an electronic handbrake. The Chief Executive Officer of Premium Motors, Jihad Hijazi, says the all-new Renal Taliant Dynamic CVT is a B-segment vehicle and competes with other mid to high-end brands.
It's a state-of-the-art, so we don't know of any vehicle in its segments that comes with a 1-liter 3-cylinder engine. Obviously, that coupled with the CVT automatic transmission makes it an extremely interesting proposal for most of our clients.
With its high-powered, fuel-efficient 1.0-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine, buyers could not have asked for more. A prospective Renal Taliant buyer, Eunice Tony, says the vehicle is an ideal choice for a discerning Ghanaian driver.
I had expectations. I wanted to feel a car that would be roomy and would be sleek and would pay attention to detail. Those expectations were met. But the killer for me was the fact that it runs on 1.0 and the ground clearance was on point.
For nearly a decade, Premium Motors has, with pride and dedication, served as the authorized partner of Renal in Ghana.
And that's how we wrap up the business segments on News 360. My name is Minwa. We'll bring you more stories after the break. Stay with us.